So, Sara, Sharif, they're the names we should remember. These children who, I don't even know what to say, suffered the worst kind of harm and abuse from so-called parents, dad and stepmom, 40 years and 33 years respectively, after being involved in her death. So, dad, loosely speaking again, Belmarsh prison, yeah, not such a bad report, was it, from there? Living in fear, cowering in his cell. A couple of lads took offence to him, and no doubt what he did to the lovely Sara, pinned him down, tuna tin lid, serrated tuna tin lid, and set about his throat. That's real street justice, that, isn't it? In Belmarsh, can't be local. Lots of people about, dangerous people, some sentenced, some not. But it was got to, you know, and like I say, it's very difficult, or would be difficult for anyone, any normal person, to have any sort of empathy for him, would it not? We don't understand them, do we? You and I. We don't understand how someone could treat a child like they did. Harm, abuse, dare I say torture. Disgusting, hateful, despicable, nasty creatures. They really are. But street justice came after him anyway, receiving 40 years. He was always destined to go to a dispersal prison. Long-term prison, built to house Category A prisoners, the most secure and dangerous to the public. So that's where he's gone. Now, I did talk about this, him going to dispersal prisons and what might happen. Yeah, he's a certain religion, Muslim faith, and he's from an ethnic background. We do know, particularly in our dispersal prisons, there are gangs, Muslim gangs based on ethnicity and religion. People are encouraged, shall I say, to join them gangs, and they become very powerful. People know about this. It's been happening for decades. People expect prison officers, normal prison officers, inexperienced, not enough of them, to deal with these gangs, to deal with people of terror, extreme people. How? I don't know. If you've not stood on a landing where you're outnumbered, particularly in these cases, people are all member of a gang, don't assume it's something people can do. Yeah, if you've not stood in their shoes, and you wouldn't, then don't expect them to be able to deal with it. All you're doing is managing a population at best. So he's landed at Franklin, and the reports are out that he's being protected. He's on a wing. There's a gang on the wing. They're everywhere. It's not just one wing. It's a general population. And he's being protected. Word is out there that he's not to be touched. Now, for me, again, you know, I certainly won't be protecting anybody of his ilk. I won't want to work with people like him in a prison environment. I did when I was on overtime. I wouldn't choose to work on a VP wing, vulnerable prisoner wing. Them that prey on the vulnerable. Not a nice population. But the demographic has changed in prisons. I saw it at Strangeways where I worked. The VP population was growing, and it went from predominantly white males to a mixed race ethnicity, predominantly with white males in the minority. Back to Franklin, he's been protected. Now I do speak to other people, some who've been in the system a long time. Franklin, Full Sutton and other prisons, yeah, have been making a move to mix the VP population, sex offenders, in with normal prisoners. It's very difficult running two regimes in any prison. I saw it in local prisons. VPs, two movements to work, two lots of chapel, yeah, just moving people to visits. When VPs are moving, nobody else can move. It's difficult to manage. If all prisoners were in the same boat, as it were, it'd be much easier. So there was moves to do that, not to have specific wings for the worst of the worst, as far as I'm concerned, people who harm children and women. So why would you protect him? I won't understand whether I'm not like that. But here's the thing, you see, when you've got a gang, we all know in prison there's money to be made. There's a solidarity, what's the word? Well, if you're in a gang, you've got security, have you not? And what would you take from him? It's reported he's painfully thin. You know, maybe suffering PTSD from what he did to Sara. Every night I hope she visits him, and it's a living hell. Anxiety, depression, fear of having his throat cut again. Painfully thin, with nothing to offer. Or has he? He's part of a community now, and what can he bring to it? Eh? Maybe he's been extorted. He's been asked to contribute to that community. Wealth. I've no doubt his family members will send him money. He'll be able to buy canteen and the like. Maybe that's no longer his. Now he's part of the community. Maybe he'll be required to do things for that community. Like I say, everyone pisses in the same pot. A pooling of funds, money to be made. That's what it's about. You know, I change my thinking, how I look at things. And sometimes speaking to people who've been in that environment, who've been made to sort of comply. Movement to work with VPs. You know, you're in a long-term jail. You know these people, wrong-uns, maybe walking at the side of you. What are you going to do? You've got years ahead of you. Are you going to risk being unsettled, going to another prison? Or worst of all, maybe going back to normal location, a Cat B prison. Dispersal prisons are very different. Laid out very different. You know, you can buy your own food, cook your own food. A different approach. You go back to a Cat B local, you're looking at 23-hour bang up. You're going to lose lots and lots of privileges. Is it worth it? And it's like the gang thing. You know, not everyone is forced to be part of a gang. Some people are on their own, no family, unloved, anti-establishment. Yeah? Which is what that gang is about. They're anti-establishment, aren't they? So there's sort of unity in strength, if you like. Yeah, there's some that fall foul of the convert or get hurt. Some who fight back. Some who are having none of it. And those people are seen as, here we go, far right, anti-Muslim, racist, fascist, and everything else that goes with that. They're just like me and you. Maybe got a strength, maybe can fight, maybe said, no, I'm not going along with that. It's a tough one, but he's in Frankland and allegedly being protected. He'll have to give something for that protection. And like I said, speak to people, talk to people. My views change. But one thing I have learnt, and that's from speaking to other people, we will never understand that type of person because you're not them. He'll be with like-minded people in there. There'll be people he'll get on with. There's lots of networking in prisons. But that gang will have power, it'll have wealth, and it'll have control. So his protection, because he's not strong, he's not a fighter or anything else, is he? That protection will cost him 40 years of paying into a system. Just going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for your continued support. God bless you all. Thanks for coming. I'll see you.